You are high on the frozen slopes of a great mountain, terrified and caught in a blizzard, while the thing for which you've been hunting has suddenly become the hunter. And if it finds you, then for you and your companions there can be no escape. So listen now as Escape brings your Anthony Ellis exciting story, The Abominable Snowman.
Our first bit of luck was when we hired our Sherpa guide, Nasong. That was in Darjeeling. When I told Nasong what we were after, he hesitated for a moment. Then he said,
"The Sahibs have not come to climb Shamalona?"
"No, we're a little late for that. It's always been done. There are two Sahibs, and myself, are here for the reason I told you."
Verakami?
That's right.
The Sahibs always hire me to climb the mountain with them, but never this.
Are you afraid of him?
I have seen one.
You've seen one?
Yes, many of us have seen them.
Wait a minute. Alan?
Yeah? What's up?
I'm interviewing a Sherpa in here. He says he's seen one of the things. Where's Frank?
Went out to get some tobacco.
Well, come on in. I think this is our man.
All right.
Nasong, this is Mr. Ferris.
Hello, Nasong.
Hello.
Nasong was telling me about what he'd seen. Go ahead, Nasong.
It had a face that is evil, and when it saw me, it uttered a strange cry and bounded away, sometimes leaping, sometimes running, with great strides. It was dusk, and after a moment I lost sight of it in the snow.
Where were you?
With the French expedition. It was at 19,000 feet, on Shamaluna.
How far are you from it?
30 feet? Perhaps 35.
Are you sure it wasn't an ape?
I'm sure there is no ape in the Himalaya to make such a track.
What about bears?
This too I have been asked. But does a bear walk always upon its hind legs?
Well, that's enough for me. Alan?
Yep, he'll do.
Well, if you want the job, Nasong, you're hired.
You're going to try to capture a Yeti?
Yes.
It will be a difficult thing, but I will serve with you.
Yeti, Wild Man, Metakami, Abominable Snowman. That's the names for the natives had for the things. And Alan Ferris, Frank Davis, and I were gonna try and get one. We'd all done some climbing. Climbing was secondary here. Expeditions since the beginning of the 20th century had heard of the Abominable Snowman, observed their tracks, and one or two white men claimed to have seen them. The great ape, bear, monkey, wild man? We didn't know, but we were gonna find out. Four weeks later, we were in the Ranbok Valley for our interview in the monastery with the Yao Lama. The journey from our base had been uneventful. The weather was good, and our spirits were high. From the Lama's window, we could see the great peak of Everest in the distance.
Why, gentlemen, do you desire to capture Metakami?
Because, sir, we believe it will be an invaluable aid in our prehistoric research. That is, if things are in any way human.
And for this reason, then, you have formed the expedition?
Yes.
You are familiar with climbing?
Yes, we are.
You would need to be. The Yeti move at high places, dangerous places, so my people tell me. Also, the monsoons are arriving in a short time.
I understand that. Then do we have your permission to investigate in the valley and beyond?
You have my permission now.
We appreciate it.
There is one point, however. I must request that no animal or being in this valley be shot. Our religion does not allow it.
We'll respect your wishes, sir. Now may I ask you one thing?
Of course, my son.
do you believe in the existence of Metacommy?
I, myself, have never seen them, but I know that they live here, above the valley, on the goddess mother of the world. It is also true that perhaps 5, and possibly more, inhabit the upper Rongbach and its glaciers.
Thank you.
Do you have porters?
Our guide, Nasong, is hiring them now.
Ah, I trust that he meets with good fortune.
The old man, with great dignity, bowed slightly to us, and we were dismissed. But I thought I saw a shadow of a smile on his lips as he turned away. And it wasn't long before I found out why. Nasong returned to us in our quarters, and his face warned of bad news.
Sir, I am unable to hire any porters.
But why not?
They know the purpose of the expedition. They will not go.
Why?
They are afraid.
Of a snowman?
Yes, they live in peace with them. They wish no trouble. They are afraid.
Well, all right. It'll be rough, but we can't waste time talking them into it. The monsoons will be coming in a couple of weeks. It is not the same as climbing Everest. We'll travel light, just the 4 of us. Set up a base and start hunting. All right, will you, Phyllis?
Yeah, sure.
Nasong?
I will go with you. I am not afraid.
Now, we'll each carry a capacity load. We should be able to make this point below the glacier in 2 days, at 16,000 feet. And if our abominable snowmen are in the vicinity, we have 2 weeks to find them.
And when do we start?
Tomorrow.
Good. Paul?
Yes, Frank.
One thing. What do the natives mean when they say that they don't want any trouble with the things?
Oh, superstition, probably.
Oh no, sir. It is not superstition. It is because the Yeti are cannibals. That is why porters are afraid.
The weather turned ugly the day we left the village. A cold Tibetan wind blew down from the west. And with our heavy packs, it took us much longer than we thought to arrive at the point just below the Ronbach Glacier. We set up our camp and made ourselves as comfortable as we could. The next morning wasn't so bad. It was a heavy overcast, a promise of snow, and the peak of Everest was looming over us, was shrouded in clouds. The 4 of us sat in our tents, looking at charts and drinking hot tea.
I figure it'd be easiest if we started at the East Glacier. It's only about 3 miles from here, and with the weather as stinking as it is, we won't run too much of a risk. What do you think, Paul?
Well, I think that sounds all right. What do you say we split up? You and Nasong, Alan and me, will work up on either side of the ridge. Here. And if we spot any tracks, fire 2 shots, huh?
Yeah, good enough.
And the big thing, no matter what, don't shoot at the thing if you do see it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. If we lose touch with each other, we'll meet back here at 5. All right, let's get going. We'd left the base at 6 that morning, and the going was rough. Alan was pretty well shot by the time we got to the 17,000-foot mark. He was having a tough time breathing, and the wind had come up again, and with it, a fine powdery snow that blinded and choked us.
I got take 5.
All right. Here, move over here. It might cut some of the wind.
Oh, shit. That's better.
We might as well Start back for the base. Couldn't see anything.
I don't care whether we do or not.
This is good weather. Wait until the monsoons start.
No, not me. Cold. I've never been so cold in all my life.
He stayed in the half shelter of an overhang for 10 minutes, and the wind was quieter and the snow had let up. I had noticed that the tracks we had made coming back into the shelter were gone now. We didn't have any worry finding our way back. I figured that Frank and Nassong had met pretty much the same thing on their side of the ridge, and we'd meet them at the base. So Alan and I picked ourselves up and started off.
Boy, I thought I was in pretty good shape up here. Boy, I'm not. Oh, Paul, I'm tired again.
Well, we'll just take it easy going down.
All right.
You haven't got frostbite, have you?
No, not yet, but
What?
to the left, there.
Yeah?
They're not our tracks, are they?
Not unless you took out your few boots on the way up.
Must have just passed by. Must have seen us.
Yeah. Come on. We were looking at a set of tracks, newly made in the snow, and they'd passed so close to our shelter. The thing must have known we were there. They weren't the tracks of a bear or an ape, more like a splay-footed, naked foot. The tracks of the Abominable Snowman. We began to follow the tracks, and for a while, perhaps 150 yards, it was easy. And then the thing made a leftward traverse down a steep slope. We could see the prints clearly angling with a sidestep, as sure-footed as a mountain goat, except that it was walking on two legs.
This way, Paul.
Take it easy, Alan.
It's getting steeper. Boy, oh boy, that thing sure can climb.
Hold up! Alan, hold it!
I think that.
And he dropped out of sight. Over the lip of the crevice. We weren't even roped together. I got as close as I dared to the eggs. The loose snow crumbled away from my outstretched body, and I looked down into the blue-black darkness below, falling away into nothingness. He was gone, finished. All I could think of was the noise he had made when he went over. Surprise, angry, and silence. The crevice must have been 500 feet, 5,000. Snow started to fall again. Big flakes, this time wet. I stood up across the gap, 20 feet away. I saw the tracks of a thing, continuing on and away, until they became lost in blank whiteness of the glacier. It jumped and landed, still upright, on the opposite side. I went back to the base, and an hour later, Frank and Nassong returned. I told them we were quiet for a long time. Then,
Paul, are we going out again tomorrow?
why not?
I just wondered.
We should go back. It is an omen.
I tell you, he was going too fast. He doesn't have a chance to see the crevice. That's not an omen, it's bad sense.
Narakami cannot be caught.
We'll catch him.
Yeah, but there are only three of us. If we had a few more men...
I tell you, the thing was so close. If we'd looked up at the time, we would have seen it. Do you think I'm going to give up now? Next time we get it.
There was no chance to get Alan out.
No.
Do you think if we went back, we...
Listen! Do you think I don't want to? He's gone. I tried, but he's gone.
Okay, Paul, okay. All right. Wish that wind would let up.
Maybe by morning. We'll try again tomorrow. It was cold that night, and somehow colder, because Alan was gone. I heard Frank tossing around, and I knew he was thinking about a body, broken and lonely, lost somewhere in a deep and dark place. In the morning, the three of us packed our gear, camera, food. It was a light pack, and we started up again. This time to a crest above the ridge. It was tougher than it looked, and we weren't even halfway up before we had to rest. As I looked up into the west, I saw clouds boiling up, not white but somber, threatening, and below, the valley looked grim, ugly, gray. And then the sun was gone. We kept going up. Then I had a strange feeling. It was nothing I could see, nothing I could hear, only the sensation of being watched and followed. Wait a minute.
See something?
No.
I have felt it too, Sahib.
Something following us?
Yes, it is Murakami.
How do you know?
It cannot be anything else this high. There is nothing else that lives here.
Maybe it's curious. No, don't turn around. Listen. We get up to the crest. You two flop down. Stay in sight of the slope here.
What are you gonna do?
Move around the hump and watch. If it thinks we're all together, it may come close enough to give us a chance to get it.
You'd better watch your step. It looks nasty.
I will. Now come on. It took us another 15 minutes to get up to the crest, and Frank and Nasong hunched down to rest. They were in clear view of the slope that we just ascended. I moved back out of sight and made my way towards the hump, which basked a long shelf on the north side of the crest. In a couple of minutes, I lost sight of them and the slope. The wind had increased, and the clouds had spread now to become an iron-gray canopy over the mountain. It was getting colder again. I don't think it took over 5 minutes to reach my lookout point, and when I did, I had a perfect view of the ground we'd covered. There was nothing. The men were out of sight. I waited. A minute, 2. There was nothing. Then all of a sudden, it came, carried on the wind. A cry, then shots. I scrambled back to where I'd left them. When I got there, Frank was lying on his back, and I couldn't look what was left of his face. There were terrible, deep rips in his clothing, and he was dead. That song lay huddled, a few feet beyond, a gun in his hand.
Sahib?
Nasong, what is it? What?
Murakami came from behind us. Before I could get hold of the gun, it killed him, then sprang at me. It is strong, Sahib, with the strength of 10 men.
All right. Can you sit up?
My leg, it is broken. I shot at it, but I missed. It jumped away and was gone.
We were 4 hours away from camp, and with Nasong practically helpless, it would be 4 days, or never. I buried Frank where he was lying, then began to work down the slope. Nasong was in great pain. He half slid and crawled the best he could. That part of it wasn't too bad. When we were at the bottom, there was a ledge to climb. It took well over 2 hours to do that, and we still had 3 miles of difficult terrain to cover. The stops became more frequent.
Sahib, leave me here. Go back.
No.
My leg is frozen. There is no feeling anymore. I shall not live much longer.
Don't be a fool. After a rest, you'll be able to go on.
Soon the night comes. If we are both caught here, we both die. There will be snow, much snow. Leave me.
No, we're going back together.
Please, let me sleep. Let me sleep here. I cannot go on.
You've got to, Nasong.
No, no more.
The ridge is only about a half a mile from there. It won't be too bad.
No, no, let me stay.
Nasong.
Let me sleep.
No, come on. Nasong, you're not gonna sleep. You'll be alright.
Sahib, look there.
What? I turned, and for an instant, I saw it, outlined against the snow, crouching, of medium height. It was covered with thick hair. The face was reddish and bare, a semi-human face. It was not an ape. The thing made a tremendous leap, and it was gone. But I'd hit it. I knew I'd hit it.
Let it call me. That was he. Did you kill it?
No, I don't think so.
Then it will be back. It has tasted blood. You must leave me.
No, get up. Get up! Come on, let's go. Nasong!
I'm very sorry, Sahib. Will you ask the Lama to make a prayer for me?
Sure, I will, but...
Say goodbye to my wife in Darjeeling. I'm sorry, Sahib. I die. Ugh.
Nasong! Nasong! Darkness came, and with it, shadows in the snow. Every hillock became the thing, motionless, waiting. In my mind, I kept seeing its powerful long arms and the dreadful claws it must have possessed. I carried my gun in my gloved hand. I knew that I couldn't fire it unless I was barehanded, and that meant my hand would freeze to the gun. Suddenly, I felt myself slipping. It was a short incline, but when I reached the bottom, the gun was gone. I'd lost it. I've got to find it. I've got to find it! I saw a glint of metal in the snow 10 feet away. At the same time, above me, at the top of the bank, the thing, it stood, swaying a little, looking down at me. I moved, slowly, inched my way towards the gun. As I drew closer, I kept my eyes looking up, but it didn't move, only stared down at me. And I thought I saw its little eyes glittering, and I thought, if the gun's frozen now, and if it's frozen and doesn't fire, and I was nearer to it, near enough to take off my glove, but in that moment in which I had to bend down to pick it up, that's when it would leap down and tear at me, tear at my throat, tear, and I had the gun, I pulled the trigger! And it lay there, strange and terrifying, its blood staining the snow, and it looked at me until the sound died away. It was dead, but the eyes kept on staring. It must have been the shots that loosened the snow and the ice on the ledge above. I heard the sound, and I ran. It passed me, and swept on down towards the valley, the thunder of it dying in the distance. As I went back, there was nothing there. It was buried, somewhere under tons of snow. I made my way back to the Rongbok village. I don't remember how. I didn't remember anything for 2 weeks after. But I'm alive, and I'm not going back there again. That's all I know, or want to know, about the Abominable Snowman.
The Abominable Snowman, written by Anthony Ellis.